Hi, welcome to Analytics for All. This is our second project in our Python for Data Science course. This is list and conditional logic. If you're just coming here from the YouTube, I'll put a link down to my website in the description so you can go check it out. Uh, this is part of a course. If you go check out my free courses here, you'll see the Python for Fundamentals course, and you'll see all the lessons involved, and we got where the projects sit. Now, if you look a little farther down here, you'll notice I've got downloads for the notebooks. This first download is all of the notebooks taught in the course, all 19 lessons. The second is the project solutions. So you can just download the project solutions and check them out on your own, or you can just stay here and watch, and we'll go through it together. If for some reason you don't have Anaconda installed on your computer, which I'm using, I did set up a Python console you can click on this. It'll bring you to a testing show. You can work within your browser. So if you're on your phone or a work computer you can't install, that can still work. All right, so let's get started. So what is this one? The Python Project 2 is list and conditional logics. So what I'm going to start with, I'm going to give you this list, okay? Just a list. It's just X, and I've got 5 numbers in there. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take a loop and conditional logic. I want you to print out each number from the list, followed by whether the number is divisible by 2 or 3 or not divisible by either 2 or 3. Okay? I know we covered some of this a little earlier through arithmetic, so let's go ahead and go into the loops and check out. So let's start with, let's go ahead and zoom in so you can see what's going on now. Here's our list. All right, so we do that, and if you go to X, now you have it. All right, so let's start with the first thing we want to do is we want to create a loop so we can iterate through each one of these values. So how do we do it? The easiest one to be would just be a simple for loop. So we could say for y in x. Now again, this could be anything. This could be I. This could be whatever you want. In fact, that's very common to use I. But for y in x, I want to just print x. Okay. Oh, see what happens? I printed x. Well, that many times. So we need to print y. That was a mistake on mine. See? Okay, so there you go. Each value, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now what do we want to do? Let's take a look back at what the ask was again. Let's say, okay, so we want a loop and conditional logic to print out each number from the list, followed by whether the number is divisible by 2, 3, or not divisible by either 2 or 3. Well, I guess the question, how do you know whether a number is divisible by 2 or 3 or not? Well, the secret to that is the modulus function. Okay, what this returns is the remainder. So if I've got an even number, 4, and I do the remainder of 2, it's going to come back 0. Now if I do 5, it will come back 1 because 2 times 2 is 4, 5 minus 4 is 1. That's your remainder. So if I have a 1, it is not an even number. If I have a 4, I can go up to anything. That's 244. If I divide by 2, I get 0. I have an even number. Well, the same thing can apply to divide by 3. So if I take 9 here, modulus 3, I get 0. If I take 10 modulus 3, I get nothing. I get 1. Okay, so let's start applying some of that here. So let's start off. Let's go ahead into our line here. Now let's just we'll start with dividing by 3. So we're going to say if y modulus 3 equals 0, then I want you to print divisible by 3. Okay? So here we go. So now we have 1, 2, and 3 of them are divisible by 3. And of course, it's going above it, so we'll work on that later. All right, so we got 3. Now we want to make sure we're divisible by 2. So we can go down the next step down, and we can put in the elif function. Okay, and we'll say y modulus 2 is divisible by 0. Now keep in mind, notice the two equal signs, two equals. We have to have these because a single equal is just setting a variable. So if we say that, then we'll print, oh, sorry. I got to put it on the elif line. I don't know what I was thinking. Gotten ahead of myself. Okay, at that point we're going to print divisible by 2. And then finally we're going to say if it's neither one, we'll just go to else. Print not divisible by 3 or 2. Okay, because the way this works is it'll try this one. If it works, bam, it's going to print that, and that's the end of the story. It's not going to worry about the next 2 steps. Same thing. If it fails this, it'll try this. If that's right, it's not going to worry about this one. Then if both of these fail, it's going to worry about that one. So if we run this, all right, so divisible by 3, 102. All right, it's good. It's there. We effectively, in spirit, we've done everything we asked for. But let's make it a little cleaner. Let's go ahead and let's add in our variable. So you remember this, we use the percentage sign $D because it's a number, and then we just put percentage behind it outside of the quotes, we put percentage sign Y because that's the actual variable we're trying to print. Again, D, just change it, and we'll go outside. Remember, we're inside the parentheses, outside the quote though, for the actual variable we've got. And final one, we'll say D is not divisible by 2 or 3, and we'll come out here, Y, run this. Perfect. Now we can get rid of this line down here. And there you go. So we have effectively printed out each value in the list and determined whether they are divisible by 3, 2, or not any. All right, thank you very much. This is the solution for Project 2. I look forward to seeing you for the next projects. Thank you very much for joining us.